Welcome back to 52 Moments, where I answer things like,
Tell me about your childhood.
or,
What is your malfunction?
or even,
Why are you so wonderful and magical?
as best I can. Along the way, I hope you'll learn more about me. So let's get to it. Welcome back. This episode is called Where Did the Time Go? Because I had in mind that I would upload one of these episodes every single week. I don't know why I thought I could do that. I have never in my life been able to do anything routinely on a schedule. Ever. Medication, I do pretty good at. About once or twice a month, I miss a dose somewhere. But that's been my whole life. And this is one of those moments where my procrastination just comes to a head. Because I got sick at the end of November. Not COVID, had a test. And that led to me saying, it's okay, I can miss a week. And then I proceeded to do that every single week throughout the next month and a half. So I am now in January. And this is where I'm at. I actually do have another episode that I recorded back in November, but I don't like the way it worked. So I'm tossing that one out and I'll redo it. It'll come back at some point. Now, my whole life, procrastination has been part of it. Everything I've ever done has been last minute as far as assignments go. But if you give me a date due for an assignment, it will get done. If you tell me there's a target, I will hit it. But if you say, do this when you have time, there's never time because I will choose to do almost anything else. Today, I was supposed to be doing YouTube stuff all day. But this brain decided, nope, it's cleaning day. Oh, never is there a cleaner house when you're procrastinating. Now, the astute viewers will realize why I do this. Yes, at some point in my late 40s, I started to come to grips with the fact that I probably have ADHD. I have self-diagnosed as such through endless research of other women figuring this out at a late age. Super common. And in fact, my first clue was when my kid was diagnosed. About 15 years ago, a little less, 12. And my response was immediately, how can that be ADHD? I do that. Not thinking that the answer was because you also have ADHD. So here I am. How do I deal with that? Because my schedules become invisible. That's how this brain works. It adapts to clutter. I probably know exactly where something is deep in a pile. Like, oh, okay, this was March, so that'll be really down near the bottom of that pile of papers. And it'll be there. Does that help anyone else? No. Whoever has to clean up after me when I'm gone, I'm sorry. My filing system is wackadoodle, which is hilarious for someone who has worked in libraries my entire life and been very schooled on how to organize things. And in fact, my file structure in my computer is pretty easy to figure out. My folders and subfolders and even my file names make everything pretty clear. So I can find things pretty easily. And I am super thankful that I grew up with computers when I did, because I realized that is no longer a common thing. Younger people generally don't understand nested folders or any of that unless they are specifically taught. And that's not something that's specifically taught, but I digress. And what a shock. Okay, now you understand also why these videos have so many tangents. um, so I do have schedules. I have a whiteboard on the fridge that I use obsessively, and I wipe it clear as frequently as I can. Kiddo and I use that for communication as well. If our schedules are off kilter, I often leave early in the morning. They will come home after I'm in bed, that kind of thing. So if there's anything either of us needs to know, it goes on that board. But I also use it for things like reminding myself what I'm thinking of doing for lunch or dinner the next day. I do have a calendar in Google for meal planning, but I haven't really used that since 2020. Because once the rest of my life wasn't over hyper scheduled, I could pretty much pivot and do what I wanted to do for food. Also, we were stuck eating at home. So I really didn't want to plan too much. I just went with what was starting to go bad in the fridge. But the other problem, I bought a big whiteboard because that whiteboard works really well. So I bought a big whiteboard for my bedroom. And on that, I have little zones of to-do lists. And I try to update them regularly because the moment I write something on there, a clock starts ticking. And sometime within 2 to 72 hours, whatever I wrote essentially becomes invisible. And this is just the way my brain works because it adapts to clutter. So quite often what I have to do is just wipe it all clean and start over. Even if I'm writing the exact same stuff, the fact that it looks subtly different or I choose a slightly different synonym means that it'll get dealt with. So I have that whiteboard, I have my little whiteboard, I have Google Calendars galore, and I have a physical calendar in the kitchen right above my coffee maker. So I guarantee I'm going to be sort of glancing in that area at least once a day. And that physical calendar gets all the critical stuff if I have to be anywhere that isn't typical. Like if I have an appointment in the middle of the day, be that medical, dental, hair, whatever. If I have to pay an important bill, that goes on there. If I have to be performing, if I have tickets to an event, that goes on there. If it's someone's birthday, that goes on there. Although I have started to rely pretty heavily on Facebook. Not my best plan, but it's working right now. And when that all goes tits up, I'll figure it out. So I try my best, but I have never really gotten past procrastinating. So I'm going to try and get back on schedule with these and somehow try and catch up that extra month. I don't know if I will do it. This 52 moments may extend into my 53 years. 53rd year. And that's just how it's going to be. Now, at some point, I did think procrastination was kind of funny. And that's when I was in university. And I actually wrote a comic called Procrastoman. And in it, he came up with all sorts of creative ways to avoid doing his homework, which is kind of what I did. I mean, I wasn't necessarily coming up with ideas, but like today's house cleaning, it's still productive. I am getting something done. I'm not just sitting on my tush. Although I did plenty of that today too. But there's something that feels better about getting something done, even if it's not what you're supposed to be doing. And again, that is part of the ADHD thing. That is our little sort of squirrel brain. We're just chasing those happy feelings. And I get happy feelings when I finish something. And if that is doing a sink of dishes and I'm finished, that's good. That's a little hit of happy chemicals, and I can move on to something else. So I did a lot of those things today. I got out my label maker and I did some rearranging and some tidying. So yeah, like today was not what I was supposed to be doing. Today was not great. Procrastoman, I actually thought about bringing Procrastoman back. I built a Tumblr page, which might actually still be out there. I'll have a look. If it is, I'll add it. And yeah, honestly, I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. At this stage, I don't know if I want to pursue a medical diagnosis and get all the medication that goes with it. My coping strategies mostly haven't gotten in my way. Like, yeah, once in a while I get really upset with myself. Like when I realized I hadn't uploaded a video in 6 weeks. That's annoying. But I still have a job. I get my work done because that's all deadline related. I have targets and deadlines to meet, and that's great. And sometimes it's just get this done as soon as you can. And I just make it the priority and it gets done. So I guess what I'm saying is like we all find our own ways of sort of coping through this tangled brain mess. And whatever works for you, great. If you've got some fantastic tip that you think will solve all my woes, go ahead and paste it down below or, comment down below. But I kind of feel like I've only got another, maybe a decade of work left. I can make it through that. And then like most of my payments are auto scheduled. They just happen. So I don't have to think about that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's working for me. Now you know another thing about me. Thanks for coming and watching, and I hope you come back again.